Now, why 2008? So the reason I'm saying 2008 is what happened, in that year? What came out in 2008 that changed the game for DC? And it wasn't anything to do with them.
No, it wasn't. Tony Stark gave up selling weapons to third world countries.
Correct. So Iron Man,
Yes.
which Iron Man 2008, the first one, is also known as the beginning of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has been fantastic. That is how you do films in a chain.
Yeah.
And that then is also the downside for DC, because I believe they have, since that's happened, tried to do the same thing, exactly the same way as the Dark Universe did.
Tried to recreate their universe.
Exactly. Rather than concentrating on individual characters and individual movies, they've tried so hard to turn it into a universe.
Yeah.
And that has been nothing...
And they haven't had the same space of time as Marvel have had either, have they?
No, they haven't. And they've tried to cram it into like a really short space of time. Another part of that is the darkness in the universe.
So the darkness in the universe as well. The way they play the darkness is they just don't be funny.
Yeah.
So it's not dark like Dark Knight Rises. So like Batman Begins, Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. That was dark. It was funny, but it was almost sick, wasn't it? It was sick humour. Sick humour and things like that.
The disappearing pencil from the Joker.
Yeah, and things like that. It was that psycho humour, as you like. But it was still dark and unnerving, and so it worked. Now, the darkness, it's not dark enough, it's just not funny. Or they try and be too funny, and it just comes across silly.
Yeah.
And then obviously DC isn't silly. It's not like Marvel, where it's, there isn't always banter. It's a serious...
Yeah, and again, as we've just reviewed this Batman, there's a lot in it that's comic value, and a lot of characters that are likeable. And the problem you have at the moment is you've got Superman, who Henry Cavill's done a brilliant job, had done a brilliant job, but he's not the most likeable bloke in the world. Batman is as Ben Affleck. Unfortunately, I really was looking forward to, unlike you, I was looking forward to, after watching Gone Girl, I mentioned this the other day,
you did, yeah.
I wanted him to play it like he did in Gone Girl.
Yeah.
That kind of not really caring kind of attitude, but sort of guy, if you get on the wrong side of him, you're in serious trouble. And I thought, when I saw that, brilliant, he's going to play it like that. And he didn't.
No.
But that's not necessarily his fault. I put that down to maybe bad writing.
Yeah, probably.
The biggest mischance for me is Suicide Squad, because Suicide Squad, I thought, had the cast and had the chance to be a really great film. And it wasn't a terrible film.
But the baddie was a bit poor.
Exactly. And that comes back to the same thing. If you don't care about the bad guy, why would you care so much about the
And the fact that they
hero?
just cut out a load of the Joker. So, I have to say that Jared Leto played a great Joker. He was brilliant. And, look at him. And I've always said, and this is just my opinion, that Heath Ledger is what the Joker would have become, like that kind of progression. So we're looking at the progression of the Joker.
Sort of it's his younger self almost. Yeah,
so that's very much portraying your Harley Quinn in that era Joker, and then Heath Ledger's and the next step above that, and then I'm very much hoping that Joaquin will play another version and another era of the Joker, more like a Killing Joke, that kind of era, like the narcissistic, twisted, I've only just become the Joker, like that origin. I mean, you can go mad, but you have to remember that Joker, from what I have read and my DC knowledge, is he was a failing comedian, and he was skint, and his pregnant, Killing Joke, and his pregnant wife, and all the rest of it. So it's that. Hopefully, he's going down that angle. And
there's also the great thing about the Joker is, which they do in The Dark Knight Rises, is he has 10 different backstories. So you don't know which one is the right one.
Going on,
because he mentions it in Dark Knight Rises. He
my dad
different ones.
Is done this way. It is clever because they're using that. It's that adaptation, saying okay, we know what happens in the comic book, we know what happens there, but let's use that mentality of him losing his shit, and let's use it here. But that's another thing with these. There's no villains.
No, not a hateable villain. There's not enough. And the problem is, in Suicide Squad, they're all villains. And they're probably ones that would have been good enough to play villains, but now you like them as the Suicide Squad. So you could have had Will Smith as a bad guy. It doesn't happen. No. So he isn't a bad guy in Suicide Squad. Deadshot is a good character.
Yeah.
But he does bad things. And that would have been perfect for a Batman villain. but it's too late now because we already know him
you've
as
got
the
likability.
character. So here's what we're going to do. We're not the sort of people that are going to sit here and moan about DC the whole time. We are proactive people, and we've come up with some ideas each.
We've got solutions,
yes,
DC.
so we are going to, each of us are going to pose one to the other, and we're going to debunk, or we're going to agree with it, saying if we think that's a good idea or a bad idea. So I will let you start, and you come up with your idea for how you would think we could improve it.
So
the DC universe.
The DC universe. So my one was going to be, could the likes of Christopher Nolan and Tim Burton coming back on the scene, I know I'm clutching at straws, and even if it's just direction, just something, just going back to basics. How about that?
First, straight off the bat, I would say that's a great idea. I'm not sure Christopher Nolan would anymore, because he probably feels that he's done with it and he's done all he could, and to be honest, he couldn't do a lot more, but what he could do is possibly bring it back to the simpleness of how he did it, and I don't mean simpleness as in it was a simple film, in terms of the simplicity of not overcomplicating it. The problem that you have with Burton now is that I don't think Tim Burton's the same guy he was then, in terms of he is very different to how he used to be, but surely you would think that Tim Burton would go back to his older ways for this, because if that's what they wanted, and they wanted that style of the early 90s,
quirky edge, like what he's going to bring to Fantastic Beast and things like that, you want that kind of edge to it. And
again, let's hope he doesn't bring his ex-wife on for a change, just to mix it up. But yeah, I would say, so I'm going to go yes. I would say that's a good idea.
Thank you.
And I'd be happy with that.
Thank you very much. I think you need to ask me.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah, your one.
Okay, no, I know this is actually your point, so you can ask this one again, because I know you like this is one that you wanted to ask. Second one down.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this one.
Yeah, because you like this
Would upping the viewing age help? So here in the UK, DC went from being a 15 rating to now they're all 12As. How do you feel about that?
Yes. So again, I think this is one of those ones which to us is a good idea, and I think that DC won't do it. Well, I think they won't do it because they don't want to alienate an audience, and they don't want to lose the kids' money for a 12A. So you know that if you've got a 12A, you can have anyone there of any age, as long as it's an adult. So it's exactly the same in the wrestling term point as the PG era. Going from PG-13 to a PG program annoyed a lot of the older fans. Because they liked, some of the blood and some of the thumbtacks and all that kind of, and chair shots to the head, which we know now you can't do. But at the same time, it made more commercial sense to appeal to a broader market. Now, I agree. Yes, it would make it better. It would make it 100% better, but it wouldn't make them any more money. So I'm kind of indifferent. I would say I think they should, but they won't, because
sadly they won't.
It would cost them money.
The appeal,
I think.
Yeah.
So I've got my two now.
Go on then.
Okay. Right, now let me explain this before you just say no straight away. Why don't they just scrap the DC universe? Now that sounds controversial straight off the bat.
Dun dun dun.
Okay. As we've mentioned, the best Batman films, the best DC films, like Wonder Woman and the Batman franchises of the Christopher Nolan, they were a trilogy. And the original Batman that we've just discussed should have been a trilogy. They are the best Batman films there's been. There's probably no dispute in that. And the reason for that is they're done in their own universe, just amongst Batman, or Wonder Woman just amongst herself and her one character. The problem they now have is they're trying to force so many different characters into so many different films that you're not getting time to care enough about the main character of each film. So Flash, for example, I couldn't give a monkeys about the Flash. Aquaman, don't like him. I'm not a female, so I don't find him attractive. Or I'm not, that way inclined, so I don't find him attractive. So he's not interesting, in my opinion. He's a very one-dimensional character. He doesn't have anything interesting about him other than the fact he gets wet and takes his t-shirt off. Which to you is brilliant. You like that. But do you see what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
And this is exactly where Tony Stark wasn't born in the Avengers. He was born in Iron Man. Thor was made in his own film. All of these characters, apart from Hulk, who, you know, there's been bad
Hulk films, yeah.
But Mark Ruffalo is a lovable bloke, so he's that's perfectly done in terms of you didn't need to have his own film because of who he is.
Yeah.
All of the MCU are pretty much done in their own individual films.
Yeah.
And that's why people care about them. So to start off with this Suicide Squad and to start off with Justice League and then give us the Origins, I feel they've done it the wrong way around.
Yeah, plus they've already given it, like, they gave us clues, so we kind of already knew the story. So I loved Wonder Woman. I thought it was a fantastic film, but we knew everything was going to be alright.
Yeah.
Because she's there, and we already knew there was going to be a Justice League, and then we already knew there was going to be an Aquaman. We knew it all. So Justice League was almost leaked itself, wasn't it?
And this is the problem. The MCU have been going for 10 years, and they have made a lot of films in that time, and there's a lot of films to get around. But every single one, even Guardians, The Guardians is another example. One of the best comic book films, my favourite comic book film ever, is probably The Guardians. There's 5 different characters in that, but it's their film. It's all
theirs.
about them, and it's in their universe.
And establishing their universe.
And I think that the DC universe has damaged everything that Marvel, that the DC have tried to do. And I also think that's now why Batman vs Superman didn't work, because in Batman vs Superman, which should have just been Batman fighting Superman, until towards the end, they were still talking about
everything else,
Aquaman, and they were talking about this, they were talking about that, and it was exactly the same in Suicide Squad. Even when you put them together, you couldn't just have the people they put together. They still had to try and branch out for more, and it was exactly the same in that film, The Mummy, that was released last year, when they tried to release the Dark Universe,
which I was really excited about. But they ruined it because they just made it all about the Mummy.
They tried it so hard to bring Dr. Jekyll into it and the Invisible Man, like they tried to do a few times in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Just make that film about the Mummy and then bring this one character in for the next film.
Yeah.
And then get them together. So my whole point would be they've done it wrong, and I think they need to completely scrap this whole idea and start again with a new Batman, potentially, a new Superman.
Well, yeah.
And let these characters have their own film. And then if people like them, then bring them together. So, my question is, you don't have to say yes. If you
I know what you mean.
Would you scrap the DC universe and start again?
At the moment, as it stands now, you've lost Henry Cavill, so you've lost Superman. I have just invested into that character.
I'm really angry about
I am annoyed.
I'm pissed off.
I'm annoyed. I like him. He's British, goddammit. But no, it's like I've just invested into him. I've just accepted him as Superman. And very much like what you're saying is, we have grown up with Junior, can't say his name, gone out of my head, with Junior? Iron Man.
Stark.
Yeah, with Stark. We've grown up with him as playing Stark. We have grown up with him, you know, with the Chris's, haven't we? We've grown up with the Chris, and we've grown, you know, Chris Pratt
the 3
is Star-Lord now.
We didn't even mention Captain America, exactly the same.
And, you know, and Chris Evans is Captain America. We've grown up and we have watched the progression of these characters and these actors, so they're embedded in us now. They are, and sadly, they're very, very typecasted now, because no matter where I watch them, I'm like, is he Sherlock today, or is he Tony Stark?
And then as another just little side note. Again, these are all characters that were in films, and then the Infinity War, for example, when they all were together, was special because we'd seen them all individually first.
And then you can tell as well that the like we keep saying about the Marvel family is they've grown up together, they've worked together for all these years. There's chemistry there, so it works. I think that's where DC are really stuck. So, you know, they did the 3 ones. You know, Christian Bale was fantastic. You can't obviously fault the fact that Heath Ledger died. That's nobody's fault. And, you know, it's just a sad thing. And I think, you know, you never know if Heath Ledger didn't die. Maybe that would have had there would have been a lot longer progression there.
There was
something
rumour
else
about
might happen.
him possibly making a cameo in it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been the main bad guy.
Wouldn't have been the main bad guy, but he would have been, you know, all the way. And plus now, what's rocking the boat as well is you're even getting our DC lot jumping.
Yeah.
Into Marvel. So who
Michelle
we got?
Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer is now, you know, she's now in Marvel. You know, we just said about Bane, Tom Hardy. He's now Venom. Yep. He's jumped ship.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. went from being green and animated to red and gorgeous. So, you know, slightly gorgeous. He looked like an avocado did something to another avocado. Then you've also got Michael Keaton, who we just watched. He's now in the Marvel Universe. Yeah, in Spider-Man. So I think it's that as well, is the fact that I don't have time to invest my energy into the characters themselves, and they're not necessarily